And we are live, right, Sean? This is so exciting. We have the real raw. We are so excited. It's over 90 episodes at this point, and this was just a concept that was thought of in an hour, and it became an idea, and it was your idea, Sean. You decided that you discovered this beautiful formula that you wanted to share and that you wanted to spread to the world, how influence is a superpower. And so we're here, and we have contestants and judges, and we're going to have a conversation, and then we're going to have assessors, what we call judges, that are going to see how well you fared in conveying and being influential in this exchange. Isn't that so, Sean?
That is so, and you bring the fun energy, the heart, the love, Vivian, every day. It is unbelievable. Yeah, so let's see the amazing people that we have. I'm so grateful they're here and people are watching, and we're unlocking some stuff. So thank you, Vivian.
We have the first contestant is David Allen Kogit. His career is in the entertainment and advertising industry, working with almost every well-known A-lister in the business, in politics, and entertainment for over 25 years. He credits his success to building relationships in a myriad of industries. He holds experience as a CCO, CMO, and CEO, skill sets in marketing, brand development, graphic design, event production, branding, photography, psychology, project management, technology, and personal development. So welcome, David.
Welcome. Thank you. Wow. That was fantastic. That sounded great. You're hired.
David, you want Vivian to go with you to introduce you everywhere you go.
I think she's awesome. I already saw the stage lighting. It was great. That was awesome, Sean. And Sean, by the way, before, just real quickly, I lived in Emerson a long time. So some of the people you're connected to, I saw on your LinkedIn, are all good friends of mine from back in the day.
David, when did you move to Emerson, or when did you live in Emerson?
I lived in Emerson from 1995 to about 3 years ago when I sold the house.
Get out of here.
Yeah. I worked I still am. I was on the police reserves with Emerson Police Department for like 20 years.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah. So Mike Mazzio's, I mean, all the names of Emerson I'm very popular with and know very well.
Mike was my one of my good friends who was at my Christmas party. Mike and I played baseball, football, and wrestled together. We graduated high school together, and we've been friends since we're 11 years old. Yeah.
And now he's the chief.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, Tom Filatico, who I graduated with, his brother Jerry was councilman in town, and Jerry's daughter played soccer with my daughter. Tom and I and Jerry played baseball and football together in high school, and Jerry and Tom's brother. This is stuff. So
yeah, I know Jerry really well. Yeah.
Did you go to Emerson High or no?
I didn't go to Emerson High. No, I moved here back 95. So yeah, I was already working. I moved into New York first, and then moved into Emerson when they built the houses at the Fairways. If you remember.
That is amazing. Well, David, welcome, and it's
yeah. Nice to have you.
Yeah. We have Peyton Wallace. He's young, very young, but driven, with a passion to make a difference in the lives of every client or business partner he meets. He is a savvy online marketer, millennial networker, multi-million-dollar producer. Peyton's winning edge is his knowledge of traditional real estate methods, mixed with his millennial mindset and digital marketing genius. His greatest joy comes from using his experience in online marketing and networking to help give clients every advantage in finding or selling their homes in an aggressive marketplace in a unique way. So welcome, Peyton.
Thank you so much. I want to get that recorded. That was absolutely fantastic. I want that to be like on my voicemail. Anytime someone calls, they can press 1 and then they can talk to me. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Yeah, Peyton, awesome. Great to see you again. And quick question, brother. If you were to give advice to anybody about digital marketing and acceleration, what would it be? Like, what do you think the most common error or suboptimal decision people make in their digital marketing space?
100%. It would have to be, you have to stay persistent. I've worked with influencers in regards to people who have anywhere from 100,000 followers to I work with somebody who has over 5 million subscribers on YouTube. And the same thing I say to anybody is the consistency is key. And trying to find different creative ways I really like working on the monetization side of digital marketing, is finding ways to use different technologies, basically keeping an open book, but never giving up. Try different softwares, try different things. And that's 100% the biggest key for me, is to stay consistent.
Awesome. Well, welcome and congratulations on what you're up to in the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Vivian, we also got some judges today for Peyton and David.
Oh my God, we have a really beautiful background with a lot of cameras and photography and sleek lighting. I mean, he looks like he's on television, like evening news, CNN, Fox, you name it. We got Charles King in the house, the king of photography here. He's a media and content creation expert, and it shows, who travels nationwide, documenting people's stories and creating content for businesses both small and large. Charles focuses on finding the real message that a company wants to say when creating any piece of content. So welcome, Charles.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm happy to be here and happy to be a part of this.
Oh, it's awesome, Charles. Thank you for being here. Where are you coming from today?
I'm coming from Virginia.
Nice. And if we had a fun fact about you, we'll go back to Peyton and David for fun facts real quick. But what would a fun fact about Charles be?
A fun fact is I went from a world of never wanting to selling icky and not wanting to touch it to realizing exactly how much power both personally and professionally you can have by figuring out how to overcome that discomfort by doing it and owning it, learning from it, and turning it into like one of the greatest excitements I have in life now.
Well, Charles, brother, we share that in great common. I thought sales was the most evil, disgusting, horrible, manipulative, awful thing anybody could ever run away from and not want to do. And I was working for a law firm in my dream job coming out of law school. And I realized that the people that were happy and free and tan were the people who could sell. And I'm like, at Columbia University as an undergrad, Ivy League grad, captain of the baseball team, graduated law school with honors. And I truly felt to everybody out there, and this is why we do the Real Raw. And that was like an amazing, almost like set up segue with Charles. Like Charles, we did not discuss that ahead of time, correct?
We did not.
Yeah. And so that's why we do this, because I think most people don't understand what you just said, Charles, truly the power of influence. And I went down that road and quit my job, started my own law firm, my credit card, and built a 40-person law firm in 2 years, unlocking those things and knowing what to do with them from incredible mentors and teachers and coaches, including Tony Robbins, Jay Abraham, and others. And it was just an unbelievable journey. So we are kindred spirits, and thank you for sharing that.
Again, my pleasure, and thank you for having me again. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure. So yeah, Vivian, we got more fine folks.
Yes, we do. We have Ashley Smith with a beautiful orange background. Mr. Orange would love you right now. Ashley Smith is the founder and creative director of TechCake, a small business website design and online marketing firm based out of South Florida. Prior to acquiring TechCake in 2018, Ashley was the client relationship manager for S2 Development, a South Florida-based real estate developer. Before joining S2 Development, Ashley had a 13-year career in the banking industry, holding various sales, relationship, and operational management positions in both retail banking and private wealth management. She also enjoys connecting with like-minded people and entrepreneurs looking to create the change they wish to see in the world. So welcome, Ashley.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here and be a part of this.
Ashley, super happy to have you here. And you're in South Florida today?
That beautiful South Florida. Don't believe the news. There's awesome people everywhere here.
In what part of South Florida are you in?
Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, we just came out of Palm Beach. We had the privilege of being at Tony Robbins' house over the past weekend, and I'm still breathing. I still don't have a fever. Hoping it stays that way.
And I love having him in our area code. I mean, having that energy down here, but it just truly speaks to the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well in the land of flamingos.
It's a pleasure. How about a fun fact about you?
Fun fact.
Besides the fact that actually that you are Vivian, fact check me on this. You are the first person to say the word flamingos on the Real Raw. Congratulations. So love it. So
it's usually my goal in life. A fun fact, I hold a record in the Key West fishing tournament for largest red snapper catch during a fishing tournament.
Oh.
I think that's a super fun fact about me.
That is a super fun fact. How big was your red snapper?
It was 19.2 pounds.
That is extraordinary. Can I share my fun fact?
It was really delicious.
Can I share my fun fact?
Yes, of course.
A fun fact. So, because I'll stick with the fishing dynamic. The week before last, I was surfing in Long Beach Island, and I was out in the sandbar in about chest deep water, and I got bumped by a shark. And I wasn't quite sure how large the shark was. And I can't confirm this was the same shark, but 10 hours later, right at the shoreline where I was surfing, they pulled in about an 8 to 9 foot bull shark that was snapping all over the place. And I don't know that was the same one, but I think there was a distinct possibility they were friends. So
I've had the pleasure of diving with bull sharks. They're amazing creatures. They're super scary up close and personal, but it's really cool to say that we can dive with actual sharks, right?
Virtual. I will add this. I dove in Walker's Cay Shark Rodeo. I've done.
Yes. Yes.
And so if you ever, for everybody that is, I agree with what Ashley said. I love sharks. I've been in the water with 100 sharks at one time.
They're beautiful.
Incredible. And just for fun though, 2 facts. 1 mile from where I was surfing was where the inspiration for Jaws was. And do you know,
Wow.
does anybody know where the inspiration for Jaws came from? And don't answer Vivian or Tony Rodriguez. Does anybody here know where the inspiration for Jaws came from?
Didn't it come from Coney Island? Is that
Close.
That's my guess.
Came from Long Beach Island, New Jersey.
Got it.
In a shark attack in Beach Haven outside the Ingleside Hotel in 1916. And then within 2 weeks, that one person was killed that day. 3 other people were killed in someone else's attack over a 2-week period. And there has not been a shark attack in New Jersey in 104 years, but 4 people were killed in 2 weeks. So it was like totally crazy. Fun fact.
Wow. Wow.
I was born in Long Branch, so
No way. This is like the craziest day ever.
I'm a Jersey girl.
Yes. Yes. Born to Run, Bruce Springsteen, written in Long Branch, New Jersey.
Singing it on the Parkway Bridge because it won't go down.
All right, we're getting nowhere today, except we're getting everywhere because we're connecting, we're sharing, we're validating. This is incredible. Long Branch is in the house. Welcome, Ashley.
Yes, thank you.
So Vivian, forgive me. Please continue. We're having a lot of fun today.
Muted, Vivian.
Vivian muted herself.
Thank you. That's fantastic. I was going to say that I was going to take you down a rabbit hole even further because I know you like to run with bulls in Spain.
Yes. What is happening now? Is more bull running is present?
No. I was just like thinking about how you have such marvelous stories with sharks and bulls. Here we go. We have Jodine Bergstrom in the house, finally with visual. This is great. She has been an entrepreneur for 33 years and living in North Dakota, has been learning everything there is to know about leadership, marketing, and entrepreneurship. A mentor handed her a book, Think and Grow Rich, which she credits for building her awareness, faith, belief, clarity, and life's mission to her journey. She has an insatiable appetite for growth. And not only has she studied under, but has certifications with Dave Ramsey. She's also a John Maxwell trainer, disc on the Rolodex for ClickFunnels. And she's making a difference in the world, helping people unblock what's holding them back and revealing their hidden greatness. So welcome, Jody.
Thank you. I was recording that for my use, so no.
Outstanding. So like bull sharks, dolphins, flamingos, like velociraptors, are any of these present for you?
Let me give you a perspective. I'm 42 miles from the Canadian border, 58 miles from the Montana border, and 82 miles to the closest drive-through Starbucks.
Ooh. So you have adventure.
Wow.
Life is present in your world as well, is it not?
And no sharks, and but we do rodeos, so we have horses. So
and where are you physically in the world?
It's called Tioga, North Dakota. It's actually the oil capital of North Dakota, and which I copyrighted that for them when I moved back here a couple of years ago. So it's my claim to fame at the state capitol.
Extraordinary. Well, welcome. Wildlife is present. Adventure, love, passion, marketing, influence. Vivian, all of these things are in the house today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And of course, we have last and certainly not least, Tony Rodriguez. Vivian, let's hit it for Tony because he gets very upset when I introduce him and you don't.
Oh my God. Well, I love Tony because everybody knows Tony. Tony has the letters TR. Well, he's also a Tony Robbins, another TR trainer. He has been an entrepreneur for over 30 years. He has started since he was 8. He's also been in the industry for real estate. And he also has a movement and a show called Get Up and Grow, which you can see on his box right there next to his name, where he helps people grow through what they go through and basically makes everybody feel heard, seen, and understood. Right, Sean? Right, Tony? So welcome, Tony.
And he's got chickens and like stuff, and he eats like eggs that I wouldn't even say it, Vivian. And yes, it's a fun amazing day.
His little fun fact is that his eggs, what do you market them as? Just got laid?
Just got laid.
It's different if Vivian says it than I do, so I don't say it. So thank you, Vivian.
And I've got the Bee Happy honey. Fun fact is I'm allergic to bees. I got allergic to bees last year. And what's really fun is I got into beekeeping 3 years ago. So that makes for an interesting combination. Anyway, happy to be here with everyone and just excited for another day.
Tony, happy to have you here, brother, and excited to see how the virtual UPW goes. I'm looking forward to it, and what are you hearing about it, and really looking forward to supporting Tony. Yeah,
it's it's exciting and a little nerve-wracking at the same time because again, it's the first time doing it. I'm excited for it, and I would be remiss if I didn't say I was a little nervous because we're going to be in front of a computer for 12 to 13 hours.
Wow. I'll be there with you. I'll be there participating.
Yeah. Well, listen, maybe you'll be in one of my teams. I don't know. We don't know how big the teams are, but the teams are probably going to be, several hundred people.
Wow.
And, that we'll be monitoring. So, and, here to support Tony and everybody that's at the event. So it's helping people again, helping people move and tap into their best self and awaken the giant within, right?
And I'm still figuring out what's happening with that because I was, going to be speaking in San Jose before it got canceled and moved to this. So I'm still waiting. I'm hopeful.
Well, be ready because at some point you'll get that call. Hey, Sean, you ready?
Yeah.
Jodine wanted to say something. Go ahead, Jodine.
I was just wondering, do you know approximately the support team? I mean, like how many people are helping to that's crazy numbers.
Yeah.
There's going to be, last I heard, 40 some odd trainers, about 100 senior leaders and several hundred crew members.
Wow.
Yeah. It is. So I had the privilege and opportunity to go into Tony's new studio over the weekend with him. And it was unbelievable. It's a giant circle, right? That would look like a gladiator's arena, if you will. I would say across, I don't want to exaggerate, it felt like it could have been less than 70 feet across like the circle, right? In all directions, could have been more. And you can see all around their screens. So you could see 3,000 people could be on the screens at one time, 3,000 faces from their Zooms. It is utterly unbelievable. Setup.
Change out then? Like, will they rotate so that he's seeing different people all the time? I mean,
yes, I believe they will rotate through, but I also believe that there's it's kind of like seating in a live event, that there's different levels that you can purchase into the different levels. So, I am a lion in his organization. So there's a certain positioning that we'll have in that dynamic. And then it sort of rolls backwards from like lions, plats, and then, out. And so I think some of the seating, you would never be on the screen and he could see you. I'm not sure though. I forget that distinction, but how often you're on the screen, interacting with him, ability to raise your hand, that's part of the pricing structure for participation.
What an incredible gift. What an incredible gift. What an incredible gift for small business owners, the way that we're all coming together and figuring out new ways to do that.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's the first time that's ever being done of that magnitude.
Yeah.
22,500 people. 22,000
tech company behind this. I mean, like, I know that Tony's in on this. I mean, is this like his little baby or is there other tech gurus that have?
I think the name of the company's, I think it, you know what, I don't want to misspeak, but it might be Sage Productions, not Sage's wife.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure. I know it's going to be done through Zoom, and they had to do special, you know, they changed some Zoom features to be able to accommodate 22,500 people actually, because they only goes to 15,000. The largest has been is 15,000. They actually changed it so they can bump it to 22,500. That's a fun fact.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
I'll tell you,
It's a team of tech. It's not just one company. There's a bunch of companies coming together to make this happen.
I'd imagine, because again, it's first of its kind of this magnitude for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. When Tony calls, Google picks up.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
John, you are in the midst of a bunch of techie people here today.
and I will share this final, and then we'll like roll through. I am not, so first of all, Tony is the most generous, contribution-oriented human being in the world. I mean, what we were learning about this weekend and some of his ventures and businesses and how he creates his partnerships to free girls from sexual slavery and boys as well, to feed America, like outrageously generous, crazy agreements with gross revenue coming off the top, going directly to charities, with him like making no money from many of these ventures. Obviously, Tony does incredibly well. So I say all that on the left to just like have a little bit of fun on the right hand. So we also, right before we went to the studio, went to his plane with him. And I've never seen anything like it in my life. I've seen crazy stuff, right? And you know, like I've seen crazy stuff, and I've co-created some crazy stuff. You know, like I'm not like I brought my entire law firm, 100 people, to the Ritz-Carlton and did crazy things, right? So I'm not oblivious to the world of extravagance and mega luxury. His plane was unlike anything I've ever seen. I've had the privilege of flying on private jets numerous times, and I've never seen anything like it. I think it was 6,000 square feet. Had 2 bedrooms, a shower, a dining room table, couches. It was like, is this real? It was absolutely.
Wow.
So it was just a weekend of, and again, I say this, for those of you that don't know me, you know, please understand that, you know, I often say in the work that I do that, you know, the last thing I want somebody to do is to demonstrate their success by, you know, saying they own a plane. You know, and that's not the show of Tony's success. The show of Tony's success is the impact on the lives he creates, the fact of how many, you know, women he frees and people he feeds and lives he transforms, and the fact that he's coached and worked with 4 presidents, all of those things. But just as a matter of like possibility in life, it was crazy to like see that a human being can create all this. So I enter today's call still inspired, incredibly inspired, not only by those visions, but also the incredible work that he did all weekend with everybody and his generosity. So thank you for like letting us chat, get to know each other. And this is what the Real Raw is in the beginning. It's us getting to know each other, connecting. And for those like observing and watching, like, get on with it. Well, we have been getting on with it. Like, this is what it looks like for people to connect, talk, and get to know each other. So that's a training in and of itself, is how do you acknowledge, share, laugh, have fun? Because true business and business acceleration comes with 4 energies. It certainly comes with Zeus and decision-making, comes with aspiration for sure, goddess for love, but it also comes with fun. And if it ain't fun, why do it? So thank you guys for having some fun today. Went a little bit longer with our intros and all of it before we got started, but hopefully it was worth it for you. So that said, Vivian, thank you. Remarkable, ridiculous, dishing it, and Vivian are on their way. That's her amazing show and her heart and her energy and her talent. Yeah, like have her go everywhere you go and train people how to do that. The world's a different place. If everybody could be acknowledged and validated the way that Vivian Guzman does it. So thank you, Vivian.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.
Yeah. So Tony, let's drop in, brother. We got Peyton, we got David, and let's go with this. Peyton, I have a 1 or 2 under the desk. What do you think it is?
It's definitely going to be a 2.
It is definitely a 2. This is a smart young man. Right. So very, very good. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second. Excellent.
Okay. So in this first round, David, you're going to select who Tony is. This is about going after a big yes that you're up to in the world. Mm-hmm. So Tony could be himself. He could be Donald Trump. He could be Barack Obama. He could be a publisher of a book, Oprah Winfrey. In fact, he's been Tony Robbins once, I think. So who would you like him to be in terms of you're getting to a yes? It doesn't have to be selling something. It's just whatever yes. Partnership. That could be an actual sale of your product. Joint venture in marketing, book publishing. What is it? Contribution, charity. What is it for you?
Yeah, he can be, he's a small business owner.
Great.
Looking to increase his business.
Very cool. All right.
Awesome. And is this a preset appointment or is it a cold call? And by the way, I've never been Tony Robbins yet.
Oh, you weren't? No, I forgive me. But no, Mr. Orange was. My apologies.
So is this a pre-scheduled call or is it a cold call from you to me?
Let's make it, you know, we're just meeting somewhere and we're at a networking meeting or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So let's take us in. You'll hear the buzzer at 2 minutes, which means you have a minute to go. So you'll hear it 1 minute to go, 30 seconds to go, and then complete. Judges, in the first round, what we're looking for is the creation of emotional rapport, the opening of Tony's listening. So how open is the listening? How drawn forward towards David is Tony? And is something put at stake, right? That's what we're looking for. How deep is the connection? What's happening? How pulled forward is Tony? David, take us in.
Hey, Tony, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, David?
I'm good. Hey, Tony, I noticed that you come to these network meetings kind of often and never had a chance to say hello and find out what you do. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do?
I actually, I'm a life and business strategist. So I help people grow through what they go through in their personal life and relationships. And I also help businesses that are struggling turn around and scale. Again, it's about helping good people make more money so they have more time so they can do more good.
Great. And what do you think is your X factor? Like, what do you think makes you stand out in a crowd?
I think it's just the way I show up. It's having the experience and of having lived a lot of the things that I speak about, and helping people, you know, along the way. So I think energy is a big component of how you show up in the world, both, you know, personally and just even as a business. You know, what the energy is of a business what energy is a business putting out, the culture and that sort of thing.
You think you'd be able to have more clients or close more clients if you were unforgettable? People walked away and they remembered you an hour from now, a year from now?
Absolutely.
Because Tony, I wanted to say that's pretty much what I do. I take people and not just people, but places, products, and I make them unforgettable. And I'd like an opportunity to kind of show you how I do that, how I can expand your audience and up-level your credibility and maybe take your current influence and up-level that as well. Would you be interested in finding out how to do that?
Sure. You know, what does that look like? Is that something that we do in person, on the phone, online?
I actually can do it any way you'd like, whatever is more comfortable for you. It only take about 15 minutes and I can show you ways to do that. And we can expand the conversation from there if you hear something that you'd like.
I'm curious. I mean, making people unforgettable. I like it in places. Yeah, definitely curious to see what that holds.
Excellent. So I'll give you my information. We'll set up a time to do that next week. How does that sound?
Yeah, we can get together on that for sure.
Excellent. We appreciate your time and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Great. Thank you, David.
Right. Thank you.
David, great job. Excellent. Tony, how'd that feel for you, brother?
It felt good. It was engaging and sparked my curiosity.
All right. So let's take us into our judges. It's going to be, if you could, about 30 to 40 seconds of feedback total, 15 to 20 on what worked, 15 to 20 on a challenge. At 35 seconds, you'll hear the alarm and try to wrap it up with a score and a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Jodine, what do you got?
I definitely would, when you came to your question, you kind of stuttered just a little bit. So maybe just get a little more stronger on that. And, you know, I always practice in the mirror, always is a good thing. And I know it's hard on Zoom, but maybe a little more eye contact. You know, that's what we're trying to teach our clients, you know, because we're on Zoom, we're kind of missing some of that, you know, reading of the body language. So just kind of pull in a little bit more there, as, you know, from what I can see. But you did overall a really good job.
All right, what'd you have for a score?
I'm gonna go a 7.5, but I'm a hard nose, so don't take that. You're good.
And thank you, David. Thank you, Peyton, for your courage and vulnerability. And thank you, judges, for your honesty and heart-centeredness, because it's also a little bit scary at times to judge, and assess not people, but their skills. So this is not about judging people. It's about judging, skill sets and dynamics and possibilities. So thank you, Janine. Ashley, what do you have?
I wanted to say the same thing. I felt the pause in the conversation around the ask on being able to be unforgettable in the client space. I think that I would pivot that question back to the client to perhaps get them to divulge when they have been unforgettable in a scenario, so that you're engaging in terms of listening and getting as much information and feedback as possible from them, rather than having you tell them where your experience lies. Just having them connect with you and let them tell you how unforgettable they are, and they'll find value and be intrigued about who you are. You don't want to put that out there first. You want them to be communicating back to you. I thought it was engaging. Eye contact is huge for me, especially on Zoom when I can't communicate with the world, physical touch. Yeah. And I'm a hard nose too. I'd go with a 7.
Excellent. All right, great feedback, Ashley. I love the distinction of asking the question and stepping into, the other person describing through open-ended questioning, right? Like
right.
Unforgettable or not. So awesome job. Charles, what do you have?
I think that the way this was at a networking event, I think that the way you approached him and started the conversation was really, really well. You start with a, hey, we've obviously seen each other, start making instant rapport that way, and immediately asked him, hey, I just want to know what you do, because you're gathering information, which helps build a stronger sale, whether it's the next meeting or whatever. You did well with that. When you start asking him the second question, which was, so like what's your X factor? For me, where the person you're speaking to, that's when my trigger would have gone off. Okay, I'm about to try to be sold on something like that. So I would adjust that to maybe a few more questions before you hit that. So what's your X factor? Because that's what threw off a red flag for me. Like, oh, I'm about to be sold to, as opposed to a friend gathering information and building more rapport before asking for the sale.
Yeah. So what'd you have for a score, Charles?
I'm gonna actually go with you already said 7.
Okay, very good. So yeah, I'm gonna reserve some feedback to a little bit later, but I think Charles did an excellent job. And I'll give this in the positive. I have some unique, I think, accesses that will be helpful. But I really thought the concept of unforgettableness, tremendous. Love the casual initial connection. And I love the Ashley's access though, of where to go with that. So maybe we'll play with that in a little bit. So excellent, Charles. Peyton, are you ready? Who would you like Tony to be?
Absolutely. Tony, I'd like you to be yourself.
I can do that.
Yeah. All right.
Fantastic.
So is this a preset call, cold call, bump into? What is it?
It's as if we're on a Zoom call that I got invited to, and this is my first time meeting him.
Okay. All right. Take us in.
And so just as it is.
Awesome. Take us in.
All right, perfect. Hey there, Tony. How's everything going?
Good, Peyton. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I just got to say, I am extremely impressed with the very little that I've heard about you, but would love to know a lot more about you. Can you tell me a little bit about the businesses that you're involved with, and kind of how's business been, and what are the things that you're doing now?
Well, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. Started in real estate, so I'm actually a real estate broker. 30 years. I understand that you're in real estate as well. So I've been doing that, and I continue to, I'm with eXp Realty, so I'm continuing to grow my organization by helping them grow theirs. And I've been involved in everything from ground up construction and property flipping, and owned and managed my own residential real estate portfolio, commercial real estate portfolio. I've had an equestrian center with equestrian center, bar, restaurant, and lounge. And now more recently in the last couple of years, I've gotten really more into life and being a life and business strategist, and being a certified trainer for that side of things, of helping is around. And of course, I'm a trainer with Tony Robbins as well. So that's always keeps me in the mix and helping, change thousands of lives every event we go to.
That's absolutely fantastic. I got my real estate license when I turned 18. I started studying when I was 17 and hopped in as soon as I could. And it's awesome to see someone else that has been in it and stayed consistent with it for a long time. I've got a question. What's the passion that you have to go from being a, long-term in real estate to teaching and coaching and pouring into other people's lives?
Because I think ultimately success and fulfillment aren't always hand in hand. And
right.
The fulfillment piece for me is helping other people grow through what they go through. Right.
That's absolutely
challenging. Yeah. I went through my own challenging things and times. And again, having started real estate at 18, which is at least when I started, I was by far the youngest person in real estate. Now it's more common to have a lot of people in their 20s in real estate, but that was not the case in 1990. Trust me.
Right. Well, I have a huge passion for other young entrepreneurs. I have a group called Yes. It's a young entrepreneur success group, and I would absolutely love to have you. I'd love to get on a separate call, talk with you a little bit more about it. But I've got a passion for young entrepreneurs and people who are like me that are 18, 19, 20 years old that want to start their own business or trying to figure out what they want to do, whether it's college or after college. Would you be open to sharing a little bit more about me, and we can dive a little bit deeper in conversation about this, but hop on a 15-minute phone call and potentially be on my podcast to share with other young entrepreneurs?
Sure. This is what I do. It's, part of my passion and what I do, because of being an entrepreneur as long as I have. It's, I want to be the voice that I wish I could have heard when I was through some of those struggles. So you're absolutely speaking my language. I'd love to be part of that.
Perfect. Does tomorrow morning work best for you?
Tony, you can continue in just a minute with Peyton. Just gotta grab that quick call.
Yeah, Peyton, I got to grab a call, but we'll jump back in a few minutes.
Awesome. Perfect, Tony. Thank you so much.
All right. You got it.
Peyton, very nice work. How'd that feel for you?
A little bit longer. I wish I could have controlled the conversation a little bit more. But other than that, very well.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. And just my heart to yours, you don't even need to control the conversation. So but you did a beautiful job, and letting go of control and realizing that integrity-based, and I'm speaking to you. Do you want some feedback?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Your skills are crazy. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, phenomenal. So this is like, Yoda talking to Luke about like, okay, you're ready like levitating like rocks, like let's levitate spaceships, and then like let's move planets.
Absolutely.
Right? So micro distinction would be, and I think folks often think about selling in terms of control, right? That's why we call it unblinding. You're just unblinding people to truth. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, you know how to sell, don't you? Mm-hmm. The truth is, you know how to lead people, don't you? Mm-hmm. The truth is that you are heart-centered with massive ambition, and that a lot of folks would benefit massively. Probably 99.999% of people who run into you at your age, these are people you can help, and probably 99.9% of adults. Would you agree with those statements?
Yes.
Yeah, right? And so where it becomes complicated is that truth, like we're told to sit down, shut up, be quiet. I know you weren't your home. Your mom's, amazing, person, successful, incredible things. I don't know about your dad, but I'm sure. So for you, going out there, it's just that level of realizing of wild curiosity about people, which was there, mm-hmm. but realizing that, and Ashley beautifully opened up the access to this, is you can speak for a half an hour mm-hmm. and not say a single thing about yourself in a one-on-one conversation, more complicated than a group, right? And you can just be like, hey, listen, I do a couple things, really support people, help them out. And people don't even know what you're doing. And say, I'd love to talk more. We want to talk more. Like, yes.
Right.
So I want to just like, I heard that access about control, like the way you were assessing yourself, and you did mm-hmm. phenomenally. And we'll talk more about it, but great job. Let's see what the judges have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Charles, what do you have, sir?
I think that you started off very well. I love the energy. Like you can feel it come off you, like you're excited and enthusiastic to talk to Tony, and that's fantastic because he will definitely feel that. With the opening, I think that the initial question was a little bit too broad, as opposed to, oh man, it's awesome to talk to you. Like I saw that you were doing some of this stuff. I mean, let him start to want to talk to you before just asking a lot of questions. It's like one of those subconscious, like, hey, we talk like permission things. And then I could see after he started talking and telling a whole lot of information, you were getting excited and you were thinking about the next thing that you were going to ask him, which was what I'm going to call close to your close. Because like before he had finished talking, you started talking. So you almost like cut him off, especially with the Zoom. It's one of those like, oh, he's talking, let me stop talking kind of thing.
Right. Thank you.
Oh, no, of course. Oh, my score, I would say a strong 8.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank
All
you.
right. Ashley, what do you got?
I just wanted to say, Peyton, you are on fire. I'm in love with you in all the best ways as terms of the human, because you remind me a lot of myself at your age. Excellent engagement, excellent questions. I agree with narrowing the focus. Totally hit it on the head, Sean, with me. It lacked authenticity and connection because of the flow. All of the components of connecting with a person are there for you. You are authentic, you're highly intelligent and driven. It comes off in your connection. Let them lead the conversation. Don't worry about the control. Drop your desire to be perfect. Own the connection. And the authenticity will just flow between you, whether you're talking to a 19-year-old or an 85-year-old CEO worth $80 billion. You clearly have visions that are worth talking about. So I'm very impressed. I used the word lethal next to your name when I wrote it down. I give you honestly.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, this group of people has worlds of experience next to yours. I'm assuming collectively. I'm going to give you an 8.7 because I'm really impressed by you.
Beautiful, Ashley. And I'm impressed by our judges, and that certainly includes you, Ashley. I'm excited to get to know you more as well as Jodine Charles. Jodine, what's happening?
Definitely a little bit of eagerness, which can be a good thing, but sometimes that can be a little overpowering. So, just kind of watch that. One thing, David, real quick, I want to say I love your positioning. You are like right here, and I love that speaking in. Peyton, you're a little bit further back, and if you look at Sean, he's way back here. There's not that connection on Zoom, so just take note for both of you on that. And one thing, Peyton, you kind of overspoke. Allow people, especially on Zoom, because it kind of cuts in, you kind of cut them off on a few of the sentences. And that can be offensive because you don't want to hear truly what he wants to say. You're getting to, let me get you quiet so I can tell you what I want to say. So kind of right. That a little bit. And then overall, though, I love the enthusiasm. I love the energy. Definitely there. I would go an 8.5.
Thank you.
Yeah, and let's take a quick look. So, Tony, I'll be Peyton for a second. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, Tony?
Yes.
Hey, this is Peyton. We met at that networking event. How are you?
Great, Peyton. How are you?
Hey, good. I'm calling for a call. Do you still have 3 minutes or so to chat?
Yeah, actually, I have 3 minutes.
Yeah, hey, I really appreciate you. I've seen you there. I know that you train in the Tony Robbins world, and more importantly, I know you've been a successful entrepreneur and you're out there changing lives. And I just want to get to know you a little bit better. And I'm very appreciative and see if there's anything we might be able to co-create. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Yeah. So can I ask you, with all the things you've done in your life and all the success you've had in real estate, why is it that you're there training in the Tony Robbins world, doing your podcast, and why are you doing these things?
For impact. I think that influence is a superpower, and we're all impactors. We all have the opportunity to impact people and help them on their journey. I think that our journey in life, what I tell my clients all the time is that your story is your story, but it's not yours to keep. It's yours to share, right? Because that's how we all learn. And that's me sharing my stories, me sharing my experience, my ride, and hopefully making somebody else's a little less bumpy.
Oh, amazing. And can I ask where that comes from though? I mean, that's beautiful. It's incredible. But it's got to come from someplace, right? Like, what drives that?
It came from my own struggle and people not believing in me, and people really fighting against me, and instead of supporting, and again, just having to do a lot of it. I don't want to say doing it on my own, because none of us do anything on our own. But I believe in helping others that are on the path or on the journey, right? I want to be the mentor that I wish I had when I was going through it. So that's part of my why, and that's how I get some of my fulfillment, is by helping others achieve what it is that they want to achieve.
Yeah. Tony, I'm hearing that, and a lot of people say that, but if I may be so bold as to say that it lands, like it's real. And thank you, really. And if all this goes the way that you want it to, like, where does it all go?
Just making the world a better place, one person at a time. We all have, I feel it's, we all have a social responsibility to leave this world a better place than we found it. Right. And the Boy Scout motto is oh my God, now I brought it up. Now I'm not, leave no trace. Right. Like, if you're there, leave it as if you've never been there. But I want to do one better. Leave it better than you found it.
Well, thank you. In the last 30 seconds we have, is it okay if I just share a little bit about myself?
Sure.
Yeah. But first of all, if I could repeat, I'm really grateful you took the call. I'm 20 years old. You've been doing this a long time. I'm sure a lot of people want your time, and I really appreciate it. And you're right now helping do exactly what you want. You're impacting my life, and I'm very grateful for it.
I'm happy to do it. I'm sometimes I feel better speaking to the people that need me more than any that need to hear the information, not me specifically, than someone who doesn't, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And so I want to do the things you're saying. I want to impact lives. I want to change things. I'm 20 years old, and through a unique set of circumstances in my life, from the time, and I know I'm young, right? But from the time I was 13, I was already in the world of business and entrepreneurship and selling. I understood it was a pathway to freedom, impact, and contribution. And I became a uniquely successful salesperson in real estate, doing millions of dollars in transactions, which I know you can connect to what that means, and I'm doing it 20 years old, and I have a podcast. I have a massive vision. And so thank you for taking the time. And I know this is a big ask, but if it would ever make sense to you, I do a podcast. I have a group of young entrepreneurs because I want to lead, and I don't want to lead out of ego. I want to lead out of heart, and I want to give people what I'm beginning to have and what I feel is inside of them. We're beginning to produce. I want them to produce those kind of things and see life the way that you do, and humbly I think that I do, and that's what I'm up to. So that would make sense for you only, of course, if it adds value to your life. And you want to be on a podcast, I'd love to. And you could touch some young lives, and it would be supportive to my journey as well.
Sure, I'm in.
Okay, so let's pause. So Jodine, just quick thoughts. If that's Peyton, how did that feel for you?
You're muted. There you go.
I like the fact that you're asking for permission. I think that that's a very key sales tool that you need to be doing. And just the fact that you listened through what he had to say, and then just limiting the questions, and that comes back into that control where you're being more specific. Like Charles was saying, you're a little broad, and when you narrow that down, especially it's hard when you're on a sales call, you're trying to limit to 15 minutes. So that's one of the ways that you can kind of control that. But definitely, the heartfelt, sincere. Sean, the only thing I would like to see is a little more light on your face.
Well, thank you for that. Ready? So we're always real and raw here. I have not yet showered today because I've been on all day.
That's definitely raw.
And my window closed because there was an important thing that occurred that we're supporting, helping. So normally I take about a half an hour before. This is when I get ready for the day, when I'm going to do my first. I had all kinds of training calls, coaching calls this morning. So yes, so I threw my hat on. I'm like, we're going for it. So thank you for that feedback, Jodine. And normally, yes, I would not have a hat on. I'd be rolling through, but I appreciate that very much. So thank you. So Ashley, what's happening?
I love that interaction. Like Jodine, I agree with the asking permission to invite yourself into their space. It adds value to the difference in terms of experience, and also having respect for time in the person you're talking to, regardless of their age. Just never assume that a person's not successful, whether they're 18 or they're 80. And also just the authentic connection. I love that between a conversation between you and Tony, that wasn't there with Peyton. It was just this calm, cool, collected flow of two humans talking to each other and saying, I respect what you're doing. And from a mentor-mentee standpoint, let's connect. I think that maybe there's a way that you can help me be empowered to do great things in this world. And that message was loud and clear. And it is absolutely about giving the floor and respect to the people that you want business from.
Yeah. And so two things, Ashley, I think I want to get your thoughts on this, because one of these is going to be controversial that I'm about to say. So first, I don't think this is controversial, but it might be a little bit unique. Our first indispensable element, we have a 4-step, 10 indispensable element, 4 energy model. Our first indispensable element is loving people unconditionally with boundaries, like loving people unconditionally with boundaries, which may sound very challenging, but if we do, then it feeds into another element, which is level 5 listening. Oprah Winfrey said she held the microphone for 30,000 people because she said, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me. And the byproduct of the depth of our connection is the authenticity of actually loving people and giving them the incredible gift of listening, which includes at the end, acknowledgement and validation to demonstrate the depth of our true listening in that gift. So like that's present. And I think that what runs contrary to that energetically for a lot of people is language and the power of language. So 23 years ago, when I was horrified by the concept of selling, when I first heard that, oh my God, those tan free dudes, right? They sell stuff? Lawyers sell stuff? What are you talking about? Like, how does that even work? And so what I realized was that I was troubled by the inauthenticity of feeling like we're getting something versus we're just creating a decrease in frictionlessness between what should occur, right? So an example of this is like to everybody, but actually I'm curious of your thoughts on it, is I often, if I'm speaking, to larger groups and having conversation, I'd be like, who's a great closer? So Peyton, do you consider yourself to be a great closer?
I do.
Okay, awesome, right? So if we hung up, right, we close this, and let's say I close it, but I don't close it fully, the computer. Mm-hmm. You're still listening, and I walk away, and let's say that your mom was on the Real Raw today.
Okay.
Right? And you heard me say to Mona, right in my house, I go, hey Mona, like, how'd it go? Oh, dude, it went great, dude. Like, I just closed Peyton's mom. What would you think of me? How would you feel about me in that moment?
There's a part of me that has a bit of respect for the excitement that you have in getting to the close, but on the other side of it, it's I don't know, a little off balance.
Yeah. So what I believe, and these are just common pitch, close. This is language I don't use.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I never used. Right from day one, I'm like, I'm not pitching anybody.
Right.
I'm not closing anybody. I form agreements with people. I share with people. Right. And so what can happen is when we think we're great closers and pitchers and right, we turn this into a transactional dynamic.
Right.
And objectify others. So crossing that barrier, and I'm just being real right now, right? After we've broken sales records on stage for Platinum Partnership, it's $100,000 program. And I don't get paid when people say yes.
Right.
And we redesigned certain little aspects of it. And, in that world for Tony, it's in service of him and my love for him. Crazy things have happened in terms of numbers. I mean, we quadrupled the number at one event that I spoke at from the high number from before. And, you know, you're talking about an unbelievably high priced opportunity.
Right.
And it came from minor distinctions like what we're talking about.
Mm.
Like I wasn't trying to close anybody. I wasn't trying to make anybody do anything. I was trying to share with people from my heart a pathway and an opportunity to change their life. And that was at stake. For me, what was at stake was their future, not mine. Not me being able to say, hey, I did a great job on stage here.
Right.
Right. And look at me, right? Like it was the opportunity to change those lives. And yeah, I was excited about the numbers. And I say the number as a credibility point to what I teach so I could change more lives. So
Right.
people understand the dynamic that made stick what we're talking about here. So I don't know. Ashley, thoughts on what I'm...
I think you nailed it. For me, I've never really been a part of boiler room sales. I mean, my background is in finance and they're intimately connected to relationship building. And that's the focus for me. Whether you're selling a widget or whether you're selling $1 billion plane, it's all a matter of connection and having that authentic conversation with someone. So even if you don't wind up doing the sale, maybe connecting them to a nonprofit in your community, maybe connecting them to other entrepreneurs or business partners that will help them with their own business, where they go back and say, wow, how did I meet my future partner? How did I meet my future wife? Oh yeah, Ashley, Peyton, they introduced us. So you have to look at every single person that you're speaking with as a connection, not a close. They're a human with a heart. And it's all about us connecting from a heart-centered focus to do business with each other and help do good in the world. That's how I do business. It's not about closing for me. It's about connection. I consider myself a connecting person, not a salesperson.
Awesome. So thank you. So I know we're a little bit long here. Awesome job, everybody. Thank you so far. So let's just drop in round 2 and we'll efficiently move through. Peyton, would you like to go first or second in round 2?
I'll go first since I went second.
Okay. So just drop it. It's a continuation. Now it's about you sharing a little bit more about yourself, moving forward to a yes. I know you've already gotten the yes from Tony, and maybe you could deepen and seek an additional yes from him about something, or just elaborate more on what you're chatting about. And maybe we could rewind a second and say he hasn't said yes yet and play with some of the things we're talking about. This is all about fun, getting better, growing. So round 2 is about you sharing more about your heroic, unique identity, who you are in the world from a heart-centered place and getting to a yes. It could be another yes or repeating the same yes. So take us in.
I would like to go back and actually, I really appreciate everything that was said, first of all. And I've been writing here everything that you guys have said, and it means a lot. But I'd love to go back to that part where I felt like I started trying to control the conversation, and I want to implement what we've talked about and do my best there.
Because Tony's just going to say, hey, Peyton, I'm back. Like, let's pretend it was a call waiting. He's back.
Perfect.
Just take it from wherever you want.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hey, Peyton, I'm back.
Awesome. That's amazing. I was thinking about the call in the short time that we were apart, and just want to say again, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. And where we had left off is I believe that you were telling me a little bit about more of your business and where that had led you. And I think where we dropped off was, can you tell me a little bit more about why you have a passion to help other people?
I believe in other people, and I want to leave more than just, I don't want to just be, there's a quote right now, I don't remember who it's from, but I think it was Mark Twain: seek to be a man of value and not just of success. Or seek not just to be a person of success, but a person of value. And I just want to bring value to the world and make an impact, leave this world a better place.
That's amazing. Do you mind if I ask a little bit more of a personal question?
Sure.
So where does that come from? Being in business for as long as you have and being consistent in what you've done, I admire that a lot. Where does that come from? That idea?
I will tell you, because you're young in real estate. When I first started in real estate, and I was 18 years old as well, because I know that's when you started. It was hard. It was trying to sell a house to my parents or to my grandparents or
Right.
of their age, and you're just a young kid, and it was very difficult. And I didn't have a lot of support. I didn't have a lot of support because everybody that I was working with was substantially older. Like the next closest person was probably 10 or 12 years older than I was. And they were annoyed that I was there. So if I can help those young entrepreneurs that are in business, because, it's interesting, because, they say big business is the good old boy network. And guess what? When, even small business, when I think that the culture's got to change, because there's a lot of people that are, they're just care so much about their business and about what they're doing and them making money, not realizing that there's more than enough to go around. And people tend to live in scarcity in their business and in life, instead of living in abundance and knowing that there's more than enough business, there's more than enough real estate and clients to go around. You just have to be better and stand out from the crowd so that you're the one that's getting what it is that you want. Right. And that, whether that be in real estate or anything else, what makes you different, and how are you going to stand out and be that much better? It just forces you to level up and again, and your competition, all business, regardless of what it is, raising the bar, raising the standard for everyone. So I just want to be part of that. I want to be part of making a difference in the world, making an impact.
I absolutely love that. And I resonate with that a lot. Growing up, in middle school and in high school, I was bullied because I was really skinny, and I was always the weird kid. I had my first business when I was 13, and everybody looked down on me because I was the nerd of the class. I was always different. And I really like what you had said about how you use your differences as one of your greatest advantages, and you're finding different ways to go that extra mile. And do you mind if I share something with you real quick?
Sure, absolutely. Go ahead.
I have a podcast, and I have an organization called Yes. It's a Young Entrepreneur Success Network. And it is where I have a passion for young people, and young people especially that want to start their own business or that want to build their career. And I would absolutely love it if you would be able to share that message that we've talked about, that comeback story that you have with, I know your time is extremely valuable, but I'd love to see if we can maybe schedule a 15-minute call that we can just do a podcast or recorded call. Would you be open to something like that?
Yes, that goes right in line with what it is that I'm trying to do and the impact that I'm trying to have in the world. So yeah, I'd love to.
Excellent.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.
Great job, Peyton. And the vulnerability, in truth, phenomenal. And by the way, my heart goes out. I believe that all things happen as a cause for good, but I'm sure that there was immense pain they experienced at some point. And thank you for the vulnerability of sharing about your past and the bullying. And that's extraordinary. I mean, that vulnerability creates such an access and a shift. I'm blind, as you know, Peyton. I know if everybody knows this in line. I'm blind. I can't see the screen. And I've been going blind for my entire life. I stopped driving 8 years ago. And I didn't tell anybody for a long time. And I didn't tell anybody not because I was afraid that they would know I was blind or going blind. I was afraid that people would think I was using it somehow. And as I began to open up and share the truth, that access point created a lot of dynamics. And this company's called Unblinded because I'm blind, and that was the genesis of the name and the energy and what we're doing. So that vulnerability was a beautiful thing. Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah. David, are you ready for round 2, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Please take us in.
Okay. Hey, Tony, I appreciate the time that you gave me a little while back. We had a quick little discussion, and I wanted to tell you, I realized you spoke at that meeting that day, and you said some really amazing things. I was really inspired by what you said. You had talked about writing a book, and I've always wanted to write a book myself. Can you tell me a little bit about how you've gotten your message out to people in the past? You have an incredible message.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for this call again. So primarily, there's always the one-on-one, right? When you meet somebody and you can have an impact. But in the world of social media, that has been my primary source of getting my message out. I started doing videos on Facebook before Facebook Live was a thing. So I've been doing videos for 5 or 6 years on Facebook, just sharing stories of inspiration and little bits. It started with 2-3 minute videos to, then 10 and 15-minute videos. And now I have my show called Tony Talks, Get Up and Grow. And so that's an hour-long daily show. And so it's been primarily that way. And I'm inspired by the messages that I get from the people that are impacted by that. And again, I'm living what I talk about of sharing your story, and I was speaking to a young man on that call that I picked up who said he was bullied in high school, as was I. I was a shy kid growing up all the way until my 18th birthday. And that's a story for another day. But I understand what that is. So, and I think that really going out and sharing your story and putting your information out there and being vulnerable enough to do that, there's a lot of power in it, because that's what changes lives.
I appreciate you saying that. One of the things that's always very important is, when you have a message, my background, where I come from, is the entertainment business, and there's always a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of talented guitar players, singers. The ones you see on TV are the ones that kind of stand above the crowd. And what I kind of discovered through that whole process is that there's a reason that person's standing there, even though there's so many people below them that are amazing as well. It's kind of like the guy that wins the gold medal. The guy behind him who won silver was only like a fraction of a second behind him, but nobody knows him. So it's about that gold, right? Yeah. And so I was inspired by what you had talked about. And what makes me get crazy is when I see people that are so amazing what they do, but they're not where they want to be. So I would love to have an opportunity to kind of take your message and push it to the next level for you, wherever you feel that is where you want it to be. Not me, but what your heart tells you, how big an audience you want to talk to. And I'd love to have that ability to be able to do that for you.
Sounds great. And how do you do that, if I may?
Well, what I do is, it's actually a formula that I learned in the entertainment business, is how to take somebody and spread their message using visual communications, public relations, private events, content marketing. We create an image, and it has to be something like, I like to use the term unforgettable. So it could be an image, how you look, could be the words you use, scripts that you say, slogans, things that are repetitive, things that become well-known in the industry because they resonate with people. There's many different formulas, but it's basically an entertainment-based formula, like what A-listers do. There's a reason that people are A-list and people are B-list. It's not just talent, it's how they're marketed. So I have a whole plethora when I can explain those all to you and see what's the best fit for you.
Sounds great. I love the term unforgettable. It goes along the lines with legacy, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Seconds.
Yeah. So I appreciate your time to do that. And, we'll probably need about maybe 60 minutes to go through the whole process, but I think it'll be an unforgettable process for you. And I think you'll be really happy with it. And I do appreciate your time.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it.
Nice work. David, nice work. Excellent job. Love what you're saying. Quick question. I'm not asking for names, but if you in the process have any folks, seems like you've had an amazing career working with people. If there's any people that you have the permission to use their names or to tell an example story without using a name, I think that would be super powerful as well. Cause it's cool. Like, I love what you're saying. And I love the idea of the micro distinction between silver and gold. One quick, and as a thought, if this is helpful, use it. I love the math example of the percentiles of income. The 99th percentile of income makes $400,000. The 99.9, 1.7 million, 99.99, 7.8 million, 99.999, 56 million. So within that top 1%, those fractional distinctions, are exactly what you're saying, right? These micro distinctions equal 140x differential in income. Difference between being Oprah, I often say, and being a multimillionaire, and somebody who had a 5-year TV show whose name we don't really remember, somebody who had a 1-year TV show that we definitely don't remember, and somebody who just missed the TV show. And these are microscopic, and that's what you're doing in teaching. I think a couple of story examples would only enrich, obviously, dude, to do what you've done, it's incredible. It's what people want to do. and a couple of stories I think would be helpful too.
I agree.
Awesome.
Yeah, I sometimes I feel like, well, in this scenario too, I don't want to say rushed, but I'm trying to fit it in a tight spot. So sometimes if I have a little more time, at least perceived more time, more things will kind of come out. But
totally. And I'm always supporting. Sometimes we have these microscopic moments, especially if you're at a party or celebrate like something,
exactly.
a function. So
You
when
always have that ability.
right? It's like, hey, David's, or hey, I know a really great guy. He's a sales trainer. He does awesome work. He's built sales teams. He's really great at it. He's just works so hard. He'll do everything, right? How interested are you scale 1 to 10? Honestly, right now. Honestly, what do I just describe? Scale 1 to 10.
7.
Yeah. If I say, hey, I know a sales trainer. He built took a company from $3 million to $700 million in 3.5 years. And took a sales force from 0 to 500 people. What's your interest in talking to him?
10.
Right. So that micro, like that boom, that some objective example and or story, which you could say in a sentence or so, can go away. Like if somebody goes, hey, I'm a speaker, versus saying, hey, I'm a speaker on stage with Tony Robbins, there's a different conversation, right? Versus I'm a speaker and I fill arenas with 50,000 people. Like each of those are 3 different things. I'm a speaker on Tony Robbins stage. I'm a speaker and fill arenas of 50,000. Those things mean very, very different things. Or if Tony Robbins is walking in and goes, I coach people, I train people, right? And it goes, yeah, I've coached 4 presidents, right? Mm-hmm. 2 presidents or 3. Like he's interacted with 4, may have coached 2 or 3. I don't want to say the number wrong, but I coached 2 presidents by itself is like crazy. Make sense?
Got it. Thank you, Sean.
No, thank you. So let's go. Jodine, what do you have?
Definitely, I would recommend kind of narrowing down your elevator pitch. It seemed a little lengthy. And like you said, you have those micro moments where you can connect with people. That I can see where that would be an area that you could really move into and clean that up a little bit better. I like the authenticity of just being able to relate to them. I feel your compassion towards that person. A lot of that is you're leaning in. Our body language is really important. You're wanting to listen to them. You're here and you're speaking into them. And also you're nodding the head and not, cutting them off, but you're acknowledging it.
Thank you.
And what was the score?
I'm going to go an 8 on that.
Cool. And what do you have for Peyton in round 2?
Peyton in round 2, let me just look at my notes here because I had a couple of things I just wanted. You were definitely good recovery on that. And then also one thing, when you're shaking your head, you're a little more eager, like, yeah, I almost get the feeling like, yeah, I'm listening to you, but let me talk. So be careful of that. A lot of times just that subtle nodding of the head can be very powerful. So I just felt there was a little aggression in, I felt like you're like, yeah, let me get to the story, let me get you closed. But definitely a lot of compassion went there, but that was like the only, major thing that I saw, felt like that was in there. And definitely at the 8.5, 9, right in there.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Ashley.
I wanted to say for David, I also say an 8. I thought in the beginning that it lacked connection and authenticity. I felt like you were trying to pitch, but you made a really quick pivot. There was a moment in there where I felt you became more lighthearted and connected with your idea and your passion and concept. And then it kind of took off from there for me. I thought you were on target with your message and the key ingredients to your success. I agree with Sean that you can add a more dynamic and epic fact to sharing your message. But overall, I definitely think that you did better than the first time.
Awesome. And score?
Thank you.
With Peyton, I bumped it up 0.5. You get less points because you're higher on the scale. It's going to be harder to impress me. You attacked your fears head on in your pivot with this. You appeared calm and confident. There was an authentic communication between the both of you from the get. I felt it. Avoid the That's where you're pushing people in the conversation. I have done it on the call with Sean more than 5 times, so I'm calling myself out on it. So it's going to take you a while to fix that habit. The way that you get around the push at the end, take a deep breath. Be in learning with the person that you're connecting with. The breath solves all of the problems. Don't try to go off with a word. Start with a breath and say, thanks for that thought, here's mine. So you were still a little fast in your draw. Your facial expressions were more authentic this time. Humble brag times 1,000. 2020 is Revenge of the Nerds to the 10th degree. I have felt like a flopping flamingo my entire life. And I was a closet nerd. I was a closet nerd until age 37, which is this year. So we're bringing on the heat and we're going to take over the world.
I love it. I love it.
How was your experience today here, Ashley?
It was excellent. I'm really excited to be swimming with the heart-minded sharks in the world today.
Let's go. Jodine, how was your experience, by the way, today?
First, I want to appreciate you guys allowing me to be in on this experience because it's very well. I didn't give a lot of background on my sales. I used to, and Charles, we can relate here. I used to close brides I was a florist for 10 years.
Wow.
And so when you've got to, listen to mom, to her story of the wedding that she's tried to put together since her child was in her womb. And then you've got daddy over there, that's going, how much is this going to cost me? And you've got the bride going, but I'm going to change my mind one more time because Martha Stewart just came out with this. And when you can combine all of that, and I was in Breckenridge, Colorado, and had a flower shop up there for 10 years. And so we were high ticket. And I actually sold tuxedos as well, and we were the only ones that supplied them, and so we closed 98% of the brides that came in the door. And my theory was, I'm going to give you, the full enchilada of what you told me. This is the price tag. You can take it out there, and this is your fantasy wedding. When you come back to me, if daddy says we have to get more realistic, let's look at what we can take out, and let's make sure we get everybody happy. And that's how I closed everybody.
Awesome.
Oh,
Thank you for being here today, Jodine. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And Charles, what do you got, and how was today for you?
So let me go through those guys first, and I'll say how my day was.
Yeah.
David, I think you recovered much, much better on the second go round. Good job on that. I'm gonna lead up and say I'm gonna give you an 8 for what you did. Similar to what Jodine mentioned earlier, when you started, it did feel a little inauthentic, like getting into your vibe. But once you got into a groove, you start making more and more rapport of your conversation, and I like how you recovered with that. Towards the end, I would like to have seen more clarity as to what you are offering, what your offer was towards him, because it was still a little vague. Where I was like, okay, where it is, where I felt like he was almost like, okay, so what are you asking me to do almost?
Got it.
Awesome. And a score?
8 for David.
And for Peyton?
Peyton, I think you did fantastic on the second go round. Good job on taking notes. You connected, you made rapport out the gate. Your tonality was huge on that second go round on connecting with him. And then when you shared that personal story, you kept it, personal, you kept it short. So, depending on the person, they didn't kind of, start dazing off. You kept it short and where it was impactful. And then when I thought you were going to go even longer into personal stuff, you pivoted and not closed, but you made your offer. Let's just say that about your being on there. And it was a nice pivot that came nicely. It wasn't too abrupt. It was a nice flow. So I want to give you a 9 on this one.
Thank you.
And how was your experience, Charles?
I was unfamiliar with this until today, and this is fantastic. Good for y'all for doing this. This is really, really nice. And I think it's very good for both entrepreneurs or just people in general to do this and work together like this. So good for y'all for doing this. I really like it.
Well, thank you. And you're welcome back anytime. So thank you very much.
I'll take you up on that. Thank you.
Thank you. And David, how was today for you, brother?
It was awesome. I really appreciate everybody's input. It's, this can be an endearing experience, and it's something I have to keep working on and make it habitual. And so very much appreciate all your time and effort. Very much. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you. And I know that you've been up to, extraordinary things, and really appreciate your openness, courage, vulnerability, humility, and great job today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Peyton, how about yourself? How was this?
Uh, I I can't really put words to it. I am extremely grateful for everything and the feedback from everybody. I've learned a lot. I've done speech and debate for 7 years, and I learned more in the past hour than I learned a lot in the past hour than I did in a lot of those 7 years. And I just want to say I'm extremely grateful for all the judges. It was great hearing you as well, David, and thank you so much, Sean, for the opportunity to be on this.
Well, thank you. Peyton, exactly what you just said is why training, development, coaching, when done right, exists in the world. Because if I could meet the work of Tony Robbins and Jay Abraham, I'd be 23 years into a career that I despised. And I probably would have left. I'd be blind. I wouldn't have money. And I would have probably left the law because I wouldn't have wanted to continue working for people that were dictating when I can go home. You know, I was 27 years old and I was 6 months out of law school. And I would have to ask the partner I work for, hey, Mr. X, is it a pizza night? Is it a pizza night? And that meant me asking for permission. And on the day after Thanksgiving, after I was leading the firm in billable hours, 200 person law firm, very prestigious, one of the most prestigious in, New Jersey. I took my first day off. I had literally led the firm in billable hours. I took a Friday off after Thanksgiving, and I was required to call in every hour in case he needed me. And I'm like, dude, like, this is my life. And there was like 10th year associates that were living the same life. And if it wasn't for the work of Tony, Jay Abraham, and a book I bought for $1 called How to Make a Fortune from Public Speaking, I don't know where my life would be. So that's what we're doing here. We're giving that all back. Thank you, Peyton. Tony, how was today for you? And that's what your life is about too as well, brother.
Brother, this was awesome. These things are getting better and better. The judges were amazing. The contestants were awesome. Peyton, you're killing it at 20 years old. I'll say this, in 30 years of real estate, I only ever sold one house. I've only ever sold one house. No shit. Only sold one house. All of the other houses and properties that transactions that I was involved in, I helped people buy them.
Right.
Awesome.
Right? Awesome. It's not the closing. So I love it.
Wow.
And this was great today.
Yeah. Tony, great job, brother. And listen, coming off a weekend at Tony and Sage's, a couple micro distinctions inside of me were extraordinary, and I could never pay them for everything that they do. And so we're all benefiting in part because of all the coaches and mentors each of us have had. I wrote on Father's Day to about 25 different people who've had extraordinary impacts in my life, starting with grandparents and parents and coaches and athletics and trainers. And this is what we're doing. We're all doing it. We're all influencers, influencing influencers to merge ecosystems to make the world an even greater place. Thank you, guys. It was a longer day today than expected, but I hope it was worth it for you. It was for me. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.